Hi everyone, John Connolly, President of the Twin Cities North Chamber of Commerce. And this is Chamber Check-In, your source for virtual networking, great local solutions and content. Hey, we're glad you joined us today on Chamber Check-In. A shout out to 9 North that does produce Chamber Check-In for us. We appreciate their partnership. And for all things Chamber related, go to twincitiesnorth.org. That's twincitiesnorth.org. And there you'll find all sorts of ways to connect with local businesses and find solutions for your business. And now let's bring the first of our 2 guests out on Chamber Check-In, and that is Noelle Bakken of the City of Roseville. She's their sustainability specialist. Noelle, first of all, tell us about your role with the City of Roseville.
Sure. Great to be here today, John. So my name is Noelle Bakken. I've been the sustainability specialist at the City of Roseville for just about a year. Before then, I actually served as an intern at the city working on our energy action plan. And my role is primarily to work with residents and businesses on helping learn about how to make their operations and lives more efficient and sustainable, as well as work on helping the city achieve its goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 80% by 2050, which is, we're probably going to make some updates on that soon. One of the big things we're working on this year is we're starting a climate action planning process. So we are going to be examining those goals, making sure that they align with the county and state goals as well when it comes to climate change. We are also working on a bike plan that's just about getting started. And then finally, the big thing that I'm here to talk about today is we are proposing a takeout container ordinance that would potentially require takeout containers for food to be either recyclable or compostable.
Yeah, that's right. Now you have a lot going on, within your world, not just, because a couple years ago we did some outreach in the business community with energy, and now we're on to Green to Go. So share with us Green to Go, a little bit more detail. Also, there's an opportunity for businesses to find out more about this coming up in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are a few other cities in the metro area that have already enacted similar ordinances. So Minneapolis, St. Paul, Edina, and St. Louis Park have already put forth these ordinances that require takeout containers to be recyclable or compostable. With Roseville, one of our focuses is really to try to get rid of styrofoam in the environment. That's one of our big pushes, is to try to move away from that and takeout containers. But there's also a big industry shift in starting to move towards composting and recycling and more of a circular economy. And so that's one thing. With over 100 businesses that serve food in the city of Roseville, there's a lot of opportunities for us to make a big difference in our solid waste.
That's right, because Roseville is kind of a hub for hospitality with a lot of grocery stores, a lot of takeout, like you mentioned, a lot of restaurants. This is going to be phased in over a period of time, I understand. Share with us a little bit about some of the timeline that the city is trying to look at.
Correct. So what we're looking at is right now we're doing about 4 to 5 months of engagement with restaurants and businesses across the city. And as John mentioned, there are 2 opportunities coming up to come and ask questions and talk with industry experts. The first of that will be May 6th, which is coming up in just a couple of weeks. It's on a Monday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and that's at the Cedar Home Community Center, which is 2323 Hamlin Avenue in Roseville. But we are looking at a very gradual phased approach. So we're going to hopefully talk to our city council about this in the fall. And then if this winds up actually getting enacted, we're looking at probably doing about 12 to 18 months of no enforcement, just education and checking with businesses to see how they can maybe bring their materials more into compliance. We are looking at options for hardship issues as well. If there are restaurants that it's too expensive for them to move into this transition, how can we try to work around that with them as well? And then from then on, it'll kind of be looking like something like an annual check-in with restaurants. If there are any that seem to be having issues with compliance, how can we work with them? And then there might be a minor fine for continued infractions, but that's a way off. It'll probably be 2026 or so until we start looking at that in more depth.
Yeah, that's what I understand. And this is an invitation to all those businesses that do take out or serve in the hospitality industry in Roseville. These listening sessions are going to be important because they're looking for that kind of feedback from the industry and ways to, make this new initiative something that is both fulfills the mission of what the city of Roseville wants to do on sustainability, but also is not a hardship and also is the least costly for the business. So, I think there's a sweet spot there. So, Noelle, you mentioned, Green to Go is the latest big initiative, but you've been involved in other things. Just briefly tell us about a couple of those, and then we're going to close out your segment.
Sure. Oh, wow. Where to start? Partners in Energy, I think, is one of the big programs that I really worked on for a good chunk of my internship. And then towards the beginning of me starting full time, which was a partnership with Excel Energy to work directly with residents, businesses, and the industry on improving their energy efficiency, learning how they can save money on electricity bills, and working on kind of reducing that greenhouse gas load from electricity generation in the city overall. We were fortunate enough to actually be recognized by the League of Minnesota Cities for our work on that program. And so we got the Sustainable City Award last year for that, which was a really great honor. One of the other efforts that I've been working on quite a bit on, especially that's very timely right now, is we enacted Less Mow May last year. We started doing No Mow May in 2022 and moved to a kind of a more moderate approach, Less Mow May, this past year. So this will be the third year we're working on that.
All right. Well, good. Well, good. Thanks for communicating those things with us. And now we have about 30 seconds left in your segment here, Noelle. Tell us your last thoughts that you want to share with everyone.
We do have a Green to Go survey out there for that takeout ordinance. So go to cityofroseville.com/green2 go. And we have surveys for residents and businesses on there and more information. So please go and check that out.
Noelle Bakken of the City of Roseville, thanks so much for joining us on Chamber Check, and we appreciate you being with us and sharing the information. And folks, if you're in that industry, absolutely pay attention to those listening sessions and fill out the survey work that Noelle referenced. We appreciate the initiative. And now we talked about what's good for the environment, what's good for our communities, and now we're going to talk about what's good for our skin, right? And it's Genna Bohlman from a new business, Foundrie, joining us on Chamber Check-In. First of all, Genna, tell us how you started your business, Genna.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, John. I'm excited to be here. So I started this business back in 2021. I joined Foundrie as a franchisee. I actually started as a customer, loved the kind of the business they were offering, the services they were offering were filling such a unique void in the market. And I really felt that from a consumer standpoint. So I had been working at Target previous to that and just really was being drawn more towards the small business sector. And once they announced growth through franchising, I just knew I had to be a part of it. And so I signed on, like I said, early in 2021 and have opened 3 stores since. So Blaine will be my 3rd location. I have one in Wayzata and Apple Valley also. And we're super excited to join the North Metro here next week.
Awesome. And now tell us about the broad array of services. It's not just esthetician, or is it pretty much, esthetician stuff?
Yeah, so we have a very robust team of estheticians who are extensively trained. We really focus on skincare, but also have a variety of brow and lash services as well. Really, our mission is all about building women's confidence through their skin. We know that that can be a source of insecurity, whether it's acne or aging impacts, things like that, sun damage, pigmentation, things like that. We know that that's a huge source of insecurity for many, many women. So our mission is really to help them feel more empowered and more educated to know how to take the best care of their skin that they can, and then also help with services and products that can really help see, and drive some of those positive results for them as well.
Right. Hey, you touched on something with summer approaching, fast here in Minnesota, although they're short, everyone. Now, share with us some of the things that you recommend folks do to, prevent that skin damage and things like that.
For sure. Great question. It is very timely as we transition quickly. Hopefully not today. As you can see, I'm in my car sitting in the rain, but pretty soon here, I hope to have some sun. And really protecting from the sun is the number one thing you can do, when those rays start to get stronger in those warmer months. Using an SPF, usually 15 to 30 is great every day. Reapplying every 2 hours. You'd be surprised how quickly the strength of that sunscreen will deplete throughout the day. Is just really key to preventing a lot of those impacts that I mentioned, and aging, whether it's fine lines and wrinkles or different pigmentation in some spots that some people are prone to. Really, that SPF is your number one kind of support partner in that journey.
Yeah. So when people visit Face Foundry and they see one of your associates, when they walk away, what type of outcome are they going to find? What are they going to see? How are they going to feel? What type of things can they experience, in other words?
Yeah, I love that you asked that question. We're all about accessible, affordable, approachable, and efficient results-driven skincare. So we want to make sure they're able to fit into their busy lives. So we have really accessible scheduling. You can do it online. You can oftentimes get in same day. And we really hone in on kind of 20 to 60 minutes, depending on what you're looking for in terms of service duration. So you can fit that into your busy life. So we definitely want to be convenient. But in terms of kind of how you'll feel, you'll definitely get a dose of relaxation. Even in the 20-minute facials, we build in some time to really disconnect from the rest of your day. Most of our customers are busy moms, on the go, busy people who have jam-packed schedules. And so we want to be that reprieve from the rest of their day. So we build in that relaxation, but also we build in results. So every time you walk out, your skin should look and feel different than before you came in. We want to make sure that it's not just the fluff and kind of just that relaxation. We want to make sure the steps that we're building in and kind of that in that curated amount of time that we have are going to drive change towards the goals that you have for your skin.
Oh, great. Thanks for sharing that content. Appreciate that. Hey, you have a big event coming up in 2 weeks. Tell us more about that open house that's coming up in 2 weeks.
Yes, we're so excited to be part of this community. The response has already been so overwhelming, and we want to really celebrate that with a grand opening party. So we open to the public next Tuesday, April 30th. But then on Friday, May 10th, we're going to have a grand opening open house. So a ribbon cutting at 4 o'clock and then an open house style kind of happy hour type event from 4 till 6:30. So would love open to the public. Swing on by, check us out. We'll have our estheticians on site. If you want a skin consult, we're going to have snacks and some drinks and different desserts and things like that. So come on in, say hi, check us out, see what we're all about. And we have a lot of raffles and giveaways and goodies like that too. So we would love to meet everybody there.
Awesome. Yeah, and everyone, Twin Cities North will be there that afternoon celebrating grand opening. We do ribbon cuttings, and this is one of those fun events that we love to do for new businesses. Hey, how do folks find you? Tell us about the website and other things.
Yeah, so you can find everything you need at facefoundry.com. We've got 8 locations across the Twin Cities. So if there's maybe a different one, Woodbury or Maple Grove might be closer to you, you can find all their information there as well. You can also reach us via email at blaine@facefoundry.com if you have any kind of local questions, where either myself or our store manager will get back to you as soon as possible.
All right. Well, hey, we have about 30 seconds left, Genna, in your segment. Share with us your last thoughts you'd like to tell everyone here.
Yeah, well, I would say just thanks again for the time and for such a warm welcome coming from both the kind of customer community, but also the business community. Many people have already reached out to introduce themselves, stopped in to say hi as we've been doing some kind of soft opening things here. So again, just looking forward to connecting with more local businesses and being part of this, really, really collaborative community here. Thank you.
Genna Bohlman of Face Foundry, thanks so much for joining us on Chamber Check-In. And now, the vision of the Twin Cities North Chamber of Commerce is to promote business, develop leaders, and connect communities, and we're so glad you connected with us today. A shout out to 9 North that produces Chamber Check-In. We appreciate their partnership. And for all things Chamber related, go to twincitiesnorth.org. That's twincitiesnorth.org. And there you'll find all sorts of ways to connect with local businesses like the 2 we had on Chamber Check-In today. And be sure to check the website out for more details. Everyone have a wonderful weekend.